Hey guys, what's up and welcome to a new Tesla update video. So as you can see, I'm in a new place now. The move was yesterday. That's why there was no video yesterday, but let me know if the audio, by the way, is okay in the comments below. But all that being said, we're just going to be jumping straight into it, wasting not much more time. And again, quick reminder, this is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor, doing your research, making decisions. And if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to hit that like button. But jumping right into it, Tesla is going to be looking like closing around 0.8 to 9% down, which is going to be putting us at about just over $161, which compared to the market is not too bad because the market is taking quite a beating today. Not too good of a day for the overall broader market, but because Tesla already took its beating, seems like it's taking a bit of a breather today for the most part, which isn't too shabby. The VIX is finally skyrocketing. You know, we finally are seeing a bit of a breakout on the VIX, which is good to see. Well, I mean, if you're bear, it's good to see, I guess. But if you're bull, not so good to see. So let's talk about it. What does this mean, right? So at the moment, Tesla is definitely finding some serious rejection around this level right here. So this zone right here, actually, I'm going to make a better thing here. Where is the tool? You know what? I'll just do it after. I always forget where this certain tool that I like to use is. Here it is. Here we go. So it's something like this, right? This zone right here, it's something like this that Tesla's having a lot of issues with, this overall zone. So you can see every time it fell into it, it got bought back up. But this time it actually opened below it all the way here, right? So it didn't have a pretty decent day relative to where Tesla opened, but because it opened all the way down here and it came from the bottom to the up now, as opposed to from up to down, it acts as, of course, a resistance now. So because of that, it is, of course, getting a bit of rejection. It's not that good, but it's not over just yet because, in my opinion, as long as Tesla is above 160, there is still a decent chance of a bounce here. And I'll further discuss why I believe that is the case. So 1 hour time frame is one of my favorite time frames to look at. And it's quite simply because it gives you a good idea as to what a stock, in this case Tesla, might do over the next, maybe week or so, or something like that. And in this case, you can see very obviously there is a bit of a bullish divergence setting up, because as Tesla has been essentially doing this right here, which, it's definitely still finding a bit of resistance here. It's, you can argue that it has broken out and it's just simply overall retesting it over and over and over, or you can be a little bit more or less lenient, I guess, and make an argument that the fact that, it definitely hasn't broken out yet and is still having a bit of issues. Regardless of how you look at it here, the point is, Tesla is, of course, as it's going downwards, you can see this little slope. Where is here it is. As it's going down like this, you can see this RSI in the 1 hour is doing literally the opposite. So as it's making lower lows and lower highs, the RSI is making higher lows, higher highs. Now, this doesn't mean it has to bounce right here, right absolutely now. For all we know, there's a chance that it actually comes down one more time to about 155 and then goes up. But this kind of pattern, more often than not, again, it's all probability, but more often than not, actually has a bullish reversal following this pattern's quote unquote completion, right? It's a very common pattern, right? This is pretty normal stuff. It's little, descending kind of wedge, if you will. Zigzags down, it kind of gets tighter and tighter and tighter as it zigzags. You can see, right, it started off, a lot. Here, let me delete this quickly, this line or this arrow. You guys get the point. But you can see how, it started, a much wider move, and then it's kind of getting tighter, right? The moves are getting tighter and tighter and tighter, right? So we'll see. This might not even be the most accurate line. It might be something, similar to like what I have here. It could be something like this. We'll see. But the point is that there is a chance that it comes down to about, 155 to 157 one more time and then rallies. But regardless, whether it happens now or whether it happens after the move down one more time, I do believe that an actual bounce should, in theory, of course, we have a lot of earnings coming up this week, big earnings too. I believe Google, Amazon. So those can completely mess us up entirely and weigh Tesla down with them. But just through straight technical analysis, this does seem to me that it should bounce upwards. Now, the question, of course, is how high will it bounce? Will it go all the way up to gap fill here? Will it go somewhere in between, maybe somewhere to around, 175-ish? We talked about it before. I personally think it'll be 175. One thing you can do is, let's say, go in the 3 hour, make it a little bit easier. Take the Fibonacci from arguably the swing high to arguably, for now, assuming this is the swing low, assuming we don't go lower, right? This means that the 0.5 is about the 175-ish level. And let's say we do go a little bit lower. Let's say we actually retrace down to that level that we just talked about, right? Like 157-ish. Same concept, the 0.5-ish is around the 174.5 level. So pretty much around the 175-ish level. Once, hopefully, we do actually break out to the north from this pattern, which I obviously expect it to, we will make a bit of a rally to around that mid 170s region, give or take. But that is kind of the main thing I am personally waiting on right now and waiting for this pattern to really, truly play out. And again, the main thing that's making me, decently confident is the fact that First of all, usually after you have massive, drops like this, it's very common to have dead cat bounces, number one. Number two, though, again, with the RSI being, like this right here and essentially making a bullish divergence, that to me is a pretty decent sign. If you go on the RSI here, you can see it's making arguably a bearish divergence, which is of course TSLQ, literally the opposite of Tesla. It's only natural that it's making a bearish divergence. As you can see, as it went from here to here, essentially making a higher high and a higher low, it's actually going to slowly start making lower highs, lower lows. So literally the opposite, which is good, right? That makes sense. That's what you want to be seeing here for a flip for TSLA to get a bit of a bounce. So we'll see where that actually takes us. I did buy shares from all the way up here. I have more orders for cash secured puts to buy in the low 170s if it closes there and high 160s. And I also have a bunch more. The majority of my cash secured puts are actually pretty much down in the 155 to 150 region. And then I have a bit more saved to buy into the 140s if we do actually still get there. And we'll see if we actually get there or not, because that is my main region to buy right now, right? The 150 to 140-ish area is to me the sweet spot. And that's where I'm personally going to be going fairly aggressively and hoping that it actually, of course, naturally works out, right? If it doesn't, that's going to be unfortunate. I have extra that I will, of course, deploy if we do somehow come all the way down to these levels here. I just don't think we will at the moment. But again, you never know. And in case we do, I have extra, ammo, let's just say, ready to buy shares if we do come down to the very low 100s. I just don't think we will. But again, you never know in this kind of market, right? You always want to be ready for, as many cases and scenarios as possible. Now, the next thing I want to look at very quickly is the SPY. So we talked about SPY the other day. We talked about how, it's most likely going to be collapsing out of this little wedge or ascending wedge that we had here, right? And once it does, it might bring Tesla down with it, which I do think it is at the moment. I do think it is dragging, like the market is definitely dragging Tesla, but it is still arguably outperforming the market. And it's not actually doing as bad or even in line with the market. It's definitely doing better than the market, right? With SPY 1.5 and QQQ almost 2%, Tesla should be down like at least 3% in this case, right? Only down 1%. Definitely a little bit of strength being shown, but regardless, SPY did finally fall out, which isn't good for the market itself. So it might get that bit of a dead cat bounce as well here, just to kind of simply retest this area here and then it continues its way down. Which if it does, that also would be the perfect time for Tesla to do the similar thing right here, to go up to the 170s, mid 170s, and then make its way down with the market. Same concept as here, as it comes up to retest this now, what is of course an obvious breakdown, right? So keep that in mind. That's the main thing I'm personally looking at. And those are the main things I am paying attention to. And of course, we have the bad boy VIX itself, which again, beautiful bounce today, but it has come up to some pretty decent resistance, as you can see. I want to move this up to the 20s actually. I like this area the most here, right? But it has essentially come up to this kind of massive resistance of the very high 19s to all the way to 20. As you can see, so many candles here came up to it, and there's just constant resistance essentially on the VIX, right? The VIX is having a lot of issues, getting higher than this essentially, right? Which again, at the moment, actually could be good for the market, which even further lines up with what I talked about, how I personally think if the VIX does show a sign of rejection here, which it's not showing a major sign of rejection in my opinion, but it is showing a little bit in the common area that it has before. But again, if the VIX were to get some rejection here from this, clearly massive resistance level of 20, that would also open up a room for the market to rally, which of course also lines up with this dead cat bounce to retest this breakout. And of course, Tesla's little dead cat bounce from this little bullish breakout of this pattern into further downside, most likely after that, which I think will also start making the bullish divergence on the daily candle frame as well. So of course, this is all just speculation. We'll see what it actually comes to and what actually happens from here. But that's what I personally kind of roughly foresee happening moving forward. So let me know what you guys think down below. Again, there's a chance that we either break out from here or go down to 155 one more time, regardless of what happens, whether it's from here, whether we come down first and then break out. I do believe that an overall breakout will happen, move up to here, and then probably make our way down even further. And that's the majority of what I am seeing and expecting. So let me know what you guys think down below. Let me know how the audio quality is. Hopefully it's fine. Hopefully there's no issues. But thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow. Peace.